This podcast will fail. Mostly because nobody's going to listen to it. But you might prove me wrong. Who knows? And episode 36, season 2, this podcast will fail. I'm just some guy. Who I am, where I am, is completely irrelevant to the conversations that I come here to have with you and with myself. And on a day like today, that conversation almost didn't happen. It's been a busy day. Normally, I go and record this podcast on my lunch hour as I relax in the front seat of my vehicle and enjoy not being at work for an hour. Today, I couldn't do that because today is my oldest son's birthday. So if you've listened to any of the other episodes, you might know that I am a father of 6 children. Really, it's hard to call them children now because 3 of them are technically adults, but the oldest adult still lives at home with us, and today he turns 23. So I had to run around during my lunch hour and get stuff necessary for the birthday party that I'm actually going to go facilitate as soon as I'm done talking to you. It's already 7:30 at night. So normally I'm recording this podcast at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's now 7. I thought, oh my God, this podcast will fail because today it's not going to get recorded. But no, we are successful. We have made it. We have found a couple of minutes to come and talk about my boy. That's really what I want to talk about a little bit, because there's an interesting little, I don't know how I want to describe this. There's an interesting thing about this, right? So he is 23. When he was born, I was 23. Or I should say, I turned 23 a couple of days after he was born. But bottom line is, he is the age that I was when he was born. That is a weird, just the nature of life and the universe to me. These odd coincidences that line up, and I don't know that they mean anything. They probably don't mean anything, but they're interesting to me because what are the chances? And 23 is not even like a nice, neat, even round number for vaguely OCD-headed people like myself. But nonetheless, the number 23 is what happened to show up here in this particular confluence of life. What's also interesting about it is that sounds pretty young, right? 23 to be having our first child. But actually, my wife and I got married even younger, quite a bit younger than that. We actually, we had already been married for nearly 4 years before children came into the picture. My wife and I got married a week either before or after. A week after I turned 19 and she was still 18. We got married and moved out of our parents' houses. That's a whole nother story for another time. But we had a quote unquote honeymoon period, right? It was just the two of us for 3 years. And was like, okay, everything we wanted to do there. So let's talk about this family thing. We both knew we wanted to have kids. We both knew we wanted a big family. And so here we go. And 9 months later, when a dad loves a mom, my boy comes along. And so I'm 23, and we didn't know what the hell we were doing. And to be honest with you, we were just idiots. We were so young and so stupid and had zero money management skills of any kind. No one ever taught us anything about how to actually live in the real world and do things like pay bills and be responsible for stuff. But hey, you know what? Let's have a kid. Let's start our family, because you know what? Love and family is more important. And it is. And it always has been. And 6 kids later, it still is, and come what may, we make it work and we figure things out. But this dude's, he was the kickoff of our actual life when he came along. Let me tell you about my son. He is one of the kindest, gentlest, sweetest guys you will ever meet. And I'm not just saying that as his dad. He is a genuinely good-hearted person. He is an animal enthusiast. He loves dogs. He loves all animals. He's generous and kind to a fault. And at the moment he happens to be living at home with us still. The circumstances around COVID world, with the need for mom and dad to still have to go to work. And we still have essentially young teenagers in the house that can't really necessarily be trusted on their own. He stayed with us, so he's with us, and which is nice because I get to see him all the time. By the time I was 23, I'm 4 years gone from my mother's house at that point. I got the hell out of Dodge as fast as I could. But no, I get to see my son on a daily basis and hear him tell me what he's interested in and what he's working on, and it's a gift to me, honestly, to have him here and to be able to talk to him, and I'm grateful, right? I'm really grateful for him. And again, he helps out. He helps take care of the family. Again, he's big on our dogs. We've got 3 dogs, and he's all about them. It's useful. Contributes around the house, does chores, takes care of anything I need. If I ask for something to be done, he does it. No questions asked. Just a great guy. And, he's been kind of, he's had to deal with some isolation this year, right? It's been tough. I mean, all of his friends, like me, like his dear old dad, all of his friends live in his computer right now. Once in a great while, he'll get an opportunity to go and hang out at, one of the friends' houses in town, if they happen to have come home from a break from college, or if they happen to be around, but not all that often. He's pretty much stuck here most of the time with just us and just himself. So I want more for him. I want better for him, but unfortunately 2020 has just decided that this is not the year for anybody to have anything better. So, hopefully next year he'll be able to break out again and get on and do what he wants to do with his life. And, I'm just excited to see what he does and where he goes and how he forges a path, because I'm stuck on this idea that by the time I was his age, I was already broke and in debt and struggling to pay rent and eat, struggling through beat up freaking burner cars that only lasts a couple of years because you only paid $500 for it because that's all you have. There's no such thing as financing. You already screwed up your credit on JCPenney credit card and a Sears credit card, and it's weird because by the time I was his age, I had already screwed up so many things. But him, at his age, he hasn't even started, right? The world turned on a dime, and just as he was starting to get his footing and figure things out, lost his job and essentially ended up having to really come on back home and be with us. He never, so this is such a weird thing to say, but he never got a chance to screw up. The world turned so quickly that he never had the opportunity to get it wrong. And so that makes me a little nervous on his behalf. But again, he's a smart guy. He's so far the only one that seems, no, that's not necessarily true, to have some money sense. There's another boy number 3 has some money sense too. But he's not wizened. He is not of the world just yet, right? He hasn't been out there trying to navigate the real world yet at age 23 now, right? He's still kind of, he's still in the packaging. He's still in the original wrapper. But, I want the best for him. I want him to be able to do well, and I want to figure out what it is, if anything, I can do to help support him, and help him be successful with what he wants to do. Another one of those cosmic confluences that happen to come up is his name. So I'm not going to tell you his name, and I've never told you my name, nor will I. But our names are important in this context. Allow me to try and explain that. Coming up near on 11 minutes here, coming up pretty soon. When I was born, I was given a name. And the first letter of all of my family's names is the same. Okay, so my father's name started with this letter. My mother's name started with the same letter. I have two older brothers. Both of their names started with the same letter. So there was a thing that my parents had been doing where everybody's name starts with the same letter. It was kind of a cool thing. And guess what? When I was born, they gave me a name that started with that letter. Okay, now, that's not my name today. Somewhere along the way, somewhere in the 2 to 3 days following my birth, the birth certificate came along to be signed and filled out, and my name inexplicably changed. I don't know why. No one in my family has ever explained to me why. Both of my parents are deceased, as are anybody from the generation prior to them, long since passed away. So to this day, as I encroach on age 45, coming up here next couple days, I don't know why the hell my name got changed. And it was a cool freaking name. So grateful forever to my wife that when my big man, that's his nickname, I call him a lot of times, is the big man. When he came along, we were trying to come up with his name, right? And here's this little dude, here's this little person, this little wrinkly baby, old Jewish looking man face that all babies have. And I had a name in mind. I wanted to give him my middle name initially. And then my wife's idea for a name came from a little boy that she used to babysit and take care of when she was this babysitter for this kid, a sweet kid. And it was a really cool name. I gotta tell you, it's a really cool name. But here we are in the hospital room, and we're looking at this little guy, and he does not look like either of those names. Not even close. Like, you look at somebody and you go, that person's not a Kevin. I'm not getting a Dave vibe from you, right? The names that we both had didn't make a damn lick of sense. Now, I kind of almost wish that my wife was here recording this with me right now, because she'd be able to answer this question, and I'm sure she will answer it out loud to me when I'm editing it after the party, and she'll tell me what the true answer is. But anyways, I don't know if it was her idea or my idea to give my son the name that was taken away from me. So he bears my birth name. And I'll tell you right now, even saying that out loud, it is such a huge source of pride for me personally to know that, something that I valued growing up and heard about. No, your name, your name was, and, but yeah, they changed it, har. The name was restored. And the name fits him like a freaking glove. Oh my God. It's so him. And he's grown into that name so wonderfully. He did get the other names, by the way. Another pointless, useless thing that, again, nobody's really listening to it 15 minutes in here. God, it's so complicated. How do you tell it quickly? My family was a Catholic family for a long time. I was raised in a Catholic church, and all of the kids in my family were given their Catholic confirmation name at birth, and it's on the freaking birth certificate. So my father, his father, my brothers, everybody around has two middle names, including me. I have two middle names on our birth certificates, and thank God, again, for my wife, said, yeah, it's cool. We can do that. We can do two middle names. Oh, thank God. Because he ended up with my birth name and two middle names that were the name I was going to give him and the name she was going to give him. So it's just like the stars align perfectly with this guy. And again, he has grown into the names, and he's such a quality individual, right? And he can be a dork sometimes, he can be a pain in the neck once in a while. But you know what he's never been? He's never been a complete dumbass, ever. And like, that's pretty much all I was. Roughly from age 12 to age 17, I was a dumbass in every conceivable definition of the word. I was not a quality individual. I was not a good person. I was not sweet or kind or any of the things that my son is. So that's why all of this coming together like this, with him turning 23 and being the age that I was when he was born, and my birthday's coming up in 3 days, right? Today's the 27th, my birthday's the 30th of October. And I just never saw this coming. I never sat there and did the math and realized, wow, that's going to like coincide that he'll be the age that I was when he was born. That's just awesome. I love it. I don't know. I'm happy. I am fulfilled. I am proud. I think you're supposed to say I'm blessed, but I'm kind of not a religious person, so I don't go in for that thing. That's cool. You can go ahead and be blessed on my behalf. if you want to do that, if that's your thing, you go right ahead. So someday, sir, you know who you are, big man. You might come across this podcast. I want you to know how much I love you, man, and how proud I am of you and the person you are. And you make me happy, bud. You really do. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything that we have with you and because of you, and all that good gobbledygook and emotions and good stuff. And and that should be sufficient. Okay. All right. Very good. I think we've accomplished something there. I appreciate if anybody did take the time to listen to this whole thing, and if my story made any sense whatsoever, cosmic confluences of happenstance. I don't know what the title of this is just yet, but I'm like, hey, could I make the title of this the cosmic confluence of happenstance? No, that won't make any damn sense. I'll figure out the title shortly. But for now, I need to stop. I need to get on over to the family stuff and go celebrate the birthday with my big man. So thank you again to anybody that took the time today. I appreciate you very much. We are, I think, coming down towards the end of season 2 here. I think we're going to get 20 episodes out of this season as well before I'm ready to talk about something else. So a couple more things about life, society, and self to talk about. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do for season 3 and have some more fun doing different things. And I think it's coming. I think there's some very different things I'm going to end up doing here, and while I try to stick to the plan. But that's it. All right, I'm done. Thank you again, wherever you are. I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a good one.